Good morning. Today we're looking at the phenomenon of women's claims of oppression being dismissed as oversensitivity. First, let's go to Dean.
Good morning. Today we have a story on a student named Judy and the oppression that her and her classmates had experienced in their university class from their professor and the males in the class as well. Judy is in an engineering program in university and has only 20 students in one of her classes, and she is one of the 4 females in her class. She is here to talk to us today about the favoritism that her professor shows towards the male students and the sexist comments that he has made towards the female students. She finds that her professor tends to tailor to the male majority of the class and finds that some of his comments or jokes to be rather sexist at times. So, can you give us an example of any comments your professor has made in the past towards you or your other female classmates?
Yes. So one day in class, my professor said to the class, I need some help grabbing some heavy boxes from the office and brought into our classroom. Are any of the men able to help? So I interjected with, any of the girls can also help. Why didn't you think to ask the girls? And that guy responded with, oh, I just didn't think of it. Geez, lighten up. What are you on your period or something?
Oh wow, that would have been uncomfortable for sure. You also mentioned before that there was an issue with his marking, and that is unfair towards you and your other female classmates.
Yes. So myself and 3 other females in the class got our tests back and found that we all received significantly lower marks than our male peers. After reviewing our answers with a few peers, we ended up finding that our answers were at the same level as the male students, if not more detailed and more supportive. But when we brought that up to the male students, they told us that we were all being childish and that we just needed to try harder. Like, what is that? They're just as bad as him. When we brought this up with the professor, he just waved us off and told us that we're being dramatic and that this is why he dislikes teaching female students. The nerve of him.
Wow. Well, I'm very sorry that you had to go through that, Judy. This seems to be a recurring issue in society, especially toward female students in programs that are stereotypically male-dominated programs. We hope that something is to be done about it.
Thank you. Next, we have some new developments in the Brock turnover case.
Once again, Brock Turnover is making headlines for yet another sexual assault allegation claiming he took advantage of a Canadian athlete at the 2021 Tokyo Olympic Games. As many of you remember, Brock Turnover was infamous for being let off the hook after he was accused of sexually assaulting a female student at Stanford University back in 2015. In the court case, formerly the People of the State of California versus Brock Turnover, Turnover miraculously escaped a hefty trial for his role in the sexual assault of unconscious then student Emily Doe. Despite much evidence circulating and online support for Doe, Turnover was only given 3 months of jail time, half its original sentence due to good behavior. In the time past, he has moved up in the sports world, securing his spot in Team USA at the Tokyo Olympics. However, is this the end of his career? Sources are telling us today that another woman, a fellow Olympian, is also coming forward with a similar story 8 years later.
So, what do we know about the new allegations, and how do you see this playing out for Turnover?
What happened 8 years ago was a travesty. I'm making it my personal responsibility to seek justice and put this dangerous man where he belongs. You know, I can't say much. However, there's substantial evidence that I'm confident will send him away for a very long time.
Many Turnover defenders are claiming that Tart is something of a liar and was asking for it since she was wearing a sports bra after training. Does this impact the case in any way?
Given Turnover's track record, I don't think clothing worn by the victim made any significant difference in what occurred. If anything, those statements are upholding rape myths, and guys like Turnover benefit from supporters giving him the benefit of the doubt. Exonerating the defender does nothing but prevent other victims from coming forward. I think Tart is very brave, and Turnover's team is going to have to suit up big time.
We now take you to our totally legal live footage from inside a local classroom.
Alright guys, before the bell goes, remember to complete questions 1 to 7 from page 473 of the textbook for homework tonight. We will be taking it up together in class tomorrow.
Bling!
Hey, can I talk to you about something?
Of course, what is it?
I know you probably don't mean anything by it, but one of the other students in our class told me that they would prefer if you stopped using the term guys when you address the entire class. They were telling me that it makes them feel excluded because it feels like you're only referring to the boys in the class. They don't want to make it a big deal of it by bringing it up to you, but I thought I would let you know so they don't have to.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that I was making someone in the class feel excluded or unwelcome. That's the last thing I want my students to feel in the classroom. I'll try to be more conscious of it in the future.
Thanks.
I had a student approach me today after class and let me know that there's someone in our class that's really bothered by the use of the term guys when I'm talking to the whole class. I've been using it my whole career and I haven't had a problem until now.
Really? I can't believe people are so sensitive about everything nowadays. I feel like soon enough you won't be able to say anything at all.
Yeah, it really caught me off guard. Like I said, I've been saying it forever and never once had a problem. Maybe people are really just too sensitive about everything now.
Just because neither of you have ever had a student tell you that the term bothers them until now, that doesn't mean it's never bothered one of your students. It just took until now for one of your students to have the courage to speak up about it. I don't think they're being oversensitive at all. You should definitely try to be more conscious of using inclusive language when you're addressing your class.
Thanks. I never actually thought of it that way before. I will definitely try to remove that from my vocabulary going forward. I hope there aren't any other terms I've been using that make my students feel unwelcome in my classroom.
We now turn to veteran reporter Alex Gomm, who joins us from the halls of Nipissing University. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Vanessa.
So, what's the situation like at Nipissing University?
Well, Vanessa, it seems that even in the halls of academia in the thriving multicultural metropolis of North Bay, women's claims of oppression are being dismissed.
Shocking.
Indeed. I had the chance to speak with a number of women and men who were interning at Nipissing University's flagship surgery program, and I think we should warn viewers that some of what they're about to hear might be disturbing.
I doubt it.
Shut up, Dean. Not everything is about you. So, could you tell me what happened as you were preparing for surgery?
So, early on in my residency training, an attending physician kept patting me on the butt at the sink. I remember standing at the sink with my freshly scrubbed hands and feeling paralyzed. You're kind of vulnerable, and you can't really do anything. And he patted me on the butt, and that I thought was the first time. Maybe he was just slipping a hand, or maybe I was just being too sensitive. But then it just went on and on and on. Several times, and I felt really uncomfortable. And I didn't know what I should do. What should I say? I didn't know what to do, because if I say something, they're just going to say, whoa, she's a real bitch. She's sure uptight. She's sure sensitive.
Unbelievable.
I know, Vanessa. Sadly, there's been even more disturbing incidents such as this.
Whatever. It doesn't mean anything.
Dean, I swear to God. But the attitudes of men in the program are also rather telling.
There's one surgeon at Southern Hospital who's excellent. He's one of the best teachers in any of the hospitals, and he'll call female medical students little girl. Hey, little girl, what is this? What is that? I think it offends a number of the medical students, the female medical students. But he calls me son. What's the difference between son and little girl? It's interpreted as being offensive, and I disagree with that. I really do. Maybe I just cannot appreciate what a female goes through in medical training. Because I'm a man. But it seems to me there's all these little nerve endings that are absolutely naked, and they're hypersensitive to any assault on gender. Maybe they're just too sensitive to it.
What could be offensive indeed?
Alex, I think a lot of women don't know how to handle it, Kind of jerk around and be one of the boys. I mean, you're going to be around men all the time. You should learn how to fit in and not be, oversensitive to every little comment guys make.
Dean, seriously, you need to shut up right now.
Fine, whatever.
Insightful as always, Dean. Maybe the following woman I talked to should just lighten up, in your opinion.
In one of my surgical rotations as a third-year medical student, most of the surgery residents were urologists. And I think they're probably the most sexist and worst about, just making jokes about everyone's private parts, but men's in particular. And so, I can remember so well. We would go on rounds, and whenever we'd see a new patient, somehow they always got down to how big their penis was. Theirs versus the patient's. Then they would all, since I was the only woman in the room, they'd look at me like, you're the only one who's the real judge, so what do you think? At first, I was kind of embarrassed and kind of surprised. It was a 6-week rotation, and this happened daily. I just didn't say anything. It didn't make them stop. Probably by the end, I just thought it was mildly humorous because they're such stupid guys.
Such stupid guys.
Thank you, and we now return you to your regularly scheduled program.
ただいま東京からクイズキングスでございます。ホストは中台敏郎さん。